Greetings gamers, welcome to part number 36 of my Let's Play Fire Emblem 9, Path of Radiance. And in today's episode, growling is apparently the theme.
Ha! Angry is a good look for you. I look forward to seeing the results of your work. Get going, Outlander.
General Shihiram, must we truly go through with this? It's such a horrific act. It's only recently that the citizens hereabouts have even come to trust us.
We have no choice but to obey. As the woman says, the only thing we can do is ensure the Crimean army is defeated as soon as possible. General, open the floodgates. Do it now. Ike, just a bit more. Yes, sure, go ahead. Please, give me your report. 70,855 gold, which is very nice. I have current 93,710. You're literally swimming in gold in Path of Radiance, so I don't really actually believe that the extra 50,000 would be that big of a deal, but it would be cool to see if that was the case. There were no deaths and no injuries beyond our capabilities to heal. Everyone performed exceedingly well. That is all. With your leave, I will excuse myself. I don't know why you say this, the same exact thing or similar every single time.
Yoo-hoo! You there, young man. I have business with the general of this army. Would you convey a message?
Who are you?
Who am I? What kind of a low-born greeting is that? My name is Khalil, and I am a first-class mage.
And what would a first-class mage want with this army?
What's your problem? You look as if you don't believe me. Well, I suppose I can't hold that against you. It's not too often you find beauty like this coupled with intelligence like mine, but it's true nonetheless.
A mage, huh? Well, I guess you can never have too many mages lying around.
Oh, and as a bonus, I'm quite skilled with a knife as well. Beauty, brains, and brawn. The Blanker has seen fit to put the abilities of 3 people into one delectable package. Sounds like favoritism, doesn't it? Hello? Are you listening to me?
I wouldn't be.
There's a beautiful woman talking.
Yeah, the point is that you want to join the Crimean army, right? How much are you planning to charge?
Well, aren't you the little businessman? Let's see. How does free sound?
Suspicious. What's the catch?
I like my fees to be based on performance. Watch how I do in combat and make me an offer. Depending on what it is, I'll decide whether or not to grace you with my assistance. And if I was to take away your tomes and give you only a knife, you would continue being free. In fact, you'd probably be paying me money. You're not lacking for confidence, are you? Of course not. I already told you I'm a first-class mage.
You can either hire or do not hire Khalil. Because of her attitude, I'm inclined to refuse hiring, but because I need to show off the units, I'm inclined to hire. Alright, you're in.
What? Are you allowed to make decisions like that on your own? Perhaps I should speak to the general.
I am the general.
What?
Rayson, could you come down here for a moment? What do you need? I've got something I want to ask you about. If I can help, I will. Your ancestors. Forget it, it's nothing. What, is something wrong? I apologize, please let it go. It seems like something important has happened, but if you do not want to discuss it, that is your right. However, if this weren't a battlefield, your secret might not be safe. Please take care in the future. What do you mean? We of the Huron clan, if we choose to, we can read the thoughts of others. Seriously? However, this power is only available to us in a calm and peaceful environment. Here, in this desperate maelstrom of chaotic emotion, it avails me not. Energy here is warped and distorted. You know, now that you mention it, Rayson, are you feeling sick? You're so pale that it's hard to tell, but I think your face looks more wan than usual. Pay it no mind, I'm fine. You've got nothing to prove. Why don't you stay off the battlefield for a while? Ike, I'm fine, I promise. Please do not give me special treatment. As far as giving you special treatment goes, I don't really have a choice. I promised King Phoenicius I wouldn't push you too hard. If anything were to happen to you, I'd be at war with Dayan and the Bird clans at the same time. I see. I came to repay my debt, but I'm really just being a burden. That was not my intention. Hold on a moment. Who said anything about you being a burden? I cannot engage in combat, so I'm nothing more than an obstacle in the battlefield. Grayson, no, that's absurd. Don't you understand how useful your abilities are? No one else can do the things that you can. You're irreplaceable. So if you're not feeling well and try to do too much, you may not be there when we really need you. I'm of use to you then? That's what I've been trying to tell you. We depend on you, and that's why I need to make sure you stay healthy. In that case, I wouldn't mind taking a short break. But you can call me anytime. I'll come right away. I got it. Interesting conversation, to say the absolute least, because I think it's kind of pointless. So, Shinon and Janov can talk. I don't really see him actually progressing this support. I'm not going to bother with, like, Gatry and Rolf. I mean, I could, technically, just to give insight to that, especially because he's not going to have secondary partners of any sort. So, let's go ahead.
Oh, you there, halt. Hey, did you hear me? I said halt.
Who are you?
I'll ask the questions, thanks. Huh. I haven't seen your face around here before. Are you a new recruit? State your name and unit.
I don't have time to answer questions from ignorant half-breeds.
What? What did you call me? Hey, I'm talking to you, jerk.
Say that again. Go ahead. It'll be the last thing you ever say.
I'm not afraid of you, human. Crossing me is the worst decision you'll ever make.
You're lucky, half-breed. I'll let you go this time.
Ha! It's me who's letting you go, and don't forget it, human.
I halfway want to have all these conversations just to see. I suppose.
Huh. Maybe I should. Or then again, I could. No, I won't do that.
Hey.
Oh, hey, Shinon.
What in the heck are you doing? It's really annoying.
Shh. It's a secret.
Whatever. See you around.
Whoa, wait. I'm just joking. Stop being so mean and listen for a second.
I will if you buy me dinner tonight.
Oh, all right. But you better give me a good advice.
Of course. So what's on your mind?
I'm thinking about the reward that we're going to get. I'm not sure what to do with it.
Up to you. Spend it however you please.
But every time I spend money, you give me a hard time.
I do? How?
What about the other day when I bought the ultimate shield?
Gatry, that was a castle gate. Hey, did you ever give that back? That guard thought you were a thief.
And remember the speed bring? 4,000? That secret elixir that boosts speed just by drinking it, sprinkling it over your body.
You mean that putrid snake oil? You dumped the whole bottle on your head without smelling it first.
But that wonderful little potion worked. I did move faster.
You moved faster because those stray dogs were chasing you.
See? You're giving me a hard time again.
Oh, did I hurt your feelings? Wow, it sure is fun to tell you the truth and have you grumble at me in return.
No, I didn't mean to. Sorry.
You're too honest sometimes. You're embarrassing me. All right, let's go eat. Now that's spending wisely.
Yeah, let's. Wait a minute, Shinon. You didn't help me at all. This isn't part of the deal.
Uncle Shinon, wait, Uncle Shinon.
What do you want, Rolf?
Look at this.
Why are you showing me this? It's just a piece of bent wood.
No, Shinon, it's a bow. You gave me my first bow, and I wanted to return the favor. I'm making it one whittle at a time. I know it's not exactly the best-looking weapon out there, but I hope you'll use it.
Maybe if I overhauled it, I may be able to call it a bow. This thing is going to break the first time I fire it. You want me to be unarmed on the battlefield? Is that it?
I don't...
Look, to begin with, you used the wrong kind of wood. This is much too hard and inflexible. Remember the bow I made for you? It didn't look like this, did it?
But, I worked so hard. It should be just like yours.
Not even close.
No, not even...
Ah, crud. Don't start bawling. Look, let me give you a quick lesson.
Really? Promise? Oh, I'm so happy. Yay. I love you, Unky Shinon.
Yeah, it's a promise. Now quit clinging to me like a lost dog. Hey, seriously, Rolf.
Morin,
Hello, Leith.
how are you holding up? I take it you've never fought in an army like this before.
Yes, that's right. Sometimes I get confused. I'm not used to this way of fighting.
Ask me if you have any questions. I know a lot about battle. I commanded a unit back in Gallia.
You must be a fierce fighter and a great leader. Is it common for females to command armies?
No, especially not in a medieval sense or period, or romanticized medieval Europe.
In Gallia, it doesn't matter what your sex is. You just have to be the best.
That sounds fair to me.
Your life may not be so fair. You said you used to be a slave in Begnion.
You will never know the horror. You've lived with Legu's pride in your heart, under the protection of the great King Gallia. You do not know.
Very strange conversation. Very strange indeed. Alright, so with that, it is time for me to continue my managing of my convoy and all of my units. I shall be back momentarily, folks. I have done most of the convoy management. I don't really think a lot of my units really need much of anything right now, to be frank. But I am going to be forging a beautiful lance for Devdan. Now, before I make do with this very thing that I want to do, I did want to say that one of the things I'm not really fond of in the armory of Path of Radiance. Now, granted, it does make the armory for Path of Radiance different, which is cool in its own way. And this is very much similar to Thracia and other games of the sort, so I'm not necessarily complaining, but it is something you want to keep in mind. Notice that I can buy javelins, but I cannot buy hand axes, and I cannot buy anything other than wind. So if in case you were using fire or thunder like I am, and don't have any more thunder tomes, which I do not, you might want to forge a thunder tome, even if it's just base, so that you can get that tome, because you are always capable of forging all tomes once you are capable of forging tomes, except for maybe light. I think light maybe requires you to wait a little bit on that matter. However, I'm going to be forging a throwing lance, a javelin. It is going to have quite a bit better statistics. I don't think it needs any crit necessarily, because, I mean, halberdiers don't get a crit bonus. So I actually think this is perfect. I'm going to delete this and call it the Dan Ved. And of course, I'll make it a nice, beautiful yellow color. Folks who know exactly what that's named for. So this is very close to the power of a spear. In fact, insanely so. Pretty sure a spear, and I do have one with 4 uses left, only has 1 more might. 15 less hit, but it does have a little bit of crit going for it, so if you wanted something just generally better than a spear, you'd probably want to put 6 crit on it at the very least. You can only put 9, so might as well go the whole 9 yards, right? Ike here does kind of need another weapon. I think he should largely be fine with this, but the problem is that I don't have very many swords in the convoy, so you do have to be mindful of that as well. In the case of this following chapter, I'm not going to need anything like a Legu's Slayer, so the Legu's Slayer can just sit it out while I get an Iron Blade out for Ike. That should be more than enough weapon usage for this particular chapter that I'm going to be playing. I do have 800 and some odd experience points, as well as a bunch of skills I could give. I was thinking about giving Vantage and Wrath to Ike. I don't think I'm going to do that. I do want to use Ike's Aether, his occult scroll. I think that would be cool to have. So I'm not entirely sure who's going to get Wrath and Vantage. Was kind of thinking about putting Wrath on Shinon, but the problem is that because he doesn't work well with Vantage, and
yes, this would be cool, especially when he has low health. I think it's kind of overkill to put Gamble and Wrath on the same unit. So I'm not going to be doing that. Other than that, I don't really have any other units to give anything to at this moment. But I do, in fact, have a new unit to speak of. Her name is Khalil, a boisterous mage of sorts, a sage, in fact. And she's a pretty good one, not one at which I particularly ever use, but there's been times where I've played this game where I've used nothing but the mages, I've used nothing but the generals, so on and so forth. So I've used pretty much everybody to some extent at some point. Khalil has a 50% HP growth, a 25% strength. Now, the reason why she has a 25% strength is because of this stupid knife. Because every single pre-promoted sage in this game comes with knives and not staves. It is the most ignorant, foolish, and stupid thing that was done in the form of balance for the sages in this game. Now, she does also have a 45% magic growth, 45% skill and speed growth, 30% luck, 40% defense, and 35% resistance. So she's actually quite bulky. She'll end up coming to the point where she will have a reasonable amount of defense, and that's okay. That's pretty cool. She does have her own niche. She's supposed to be the fire mage or one of the fire mages in Radiant Dawn, but in this game she is any mage you want her to be. Thunder, fire, wind, all of them are B rank, which is pretty darn cool. She also comes with a meteor tome, which is appreciated. It's not really going to be used on my team. It is only C rank, so for instance Tormod here, he can use it without any further training. So if I do need it, if I really and truly do need it for the sake of using a long-range tome, I will probably just put it on him and have him have the ability to use it in case. Now she comes with Nihil, which negates enemies' combat-related skills. This is incredibly not useful in this game because there is almost no enemies whatsoever that have combat-related skills, even on difficult mode, though there are a few. There are some, but there's only a few bosses in the game that have skills that you would have to worry about. And believe me, you're not using Khalil or pretty much almost any other member of your team to take care of those units particularly. Nihil is a non-factor. Not something great, and being honest, I find it strange that a sage would be given that skill, because you almost want to sit back and think, well, she's never going to face frontline combat, or at least she shouldn't. She has 8 defense, 32 HP. Most enemies at this point are doing significant amounts of damage to her. Nihil does make sense for her mentality, though. She is a very nihilistic woman, and not a romanticized medieval representation of a woman. Granted, a lot of fantasy likes doing this, and I'm not entirely sure why. If you're going to go into a theme, you should probably stick to a theme. I am benching permanently Khalil in this playthrough. I don't have a need for her. I don't like the pre-promoted sages in this game because they cannot use staves. This meteor is going to come in handy for any such siege tomes or ballistas that I need to take out of the way. With all that being said, however, it is time to save and begin defending Talrega.
My Lord Ike, were you able to find the medallion?
No, it's gone. I fear that Dan may have somehow stolen it.
What? Is such a thing possible?
I don't know to what degree, but there can be no questioning Dan's involvement.
Is the medallion special?
Yes. Oh, yes.
I beg your pardon.
What is it?
My question may have touched a sensitive area.
Oh no, it's not that I don't want to discuss it with you personally. I just can't really talk about it to anyone. It's a private matter.
Ah, I see.
Ike. What is it, Alki? I hear the sound of rushing water just ahead. A lot of it. Rushing water? According to the map, there's a large river up ahead. That must be what you hear. This is unnatural, warped. It is not the sound of a normal river. General Ike, sir, we've got trouble. The road ahead is blocked by water.
What? How can that be?
Perhaps a local river was flooded. The whole region is soaking wet. Is the road completely impassable? No, sir. We can move forward, but the water's turned the ground to mud, and the water is still flowing at a tremendous rate, sir. This is going to cut back our speed dramatically. This is the work of Dayan. They thought to impede our progress in order to gain some time for themselves, and they've succeeded.
Blast! Is there nothing we can do?
Well, if they were able to flood the road only when we approached, there must be floodgates in the area. So if we can close them, we'll shut off the flow of water, right? That makes sense. Let's get some scouts looking for the gates.
What's that? Hey, if you're looking for something, leave it to me. I am the Hawk King's eyes, after all.
What do you mean?
These peepers of mine can see for miles and miles. They're quite handy. It would be a shame not to use them.
Is that some Legu's power? You're a hawk with the eyes of a hawk?
It beats your fantastic wit. My eyesight isn't a racial ability. It's just my own natural talent. Heck, my pal Alki has ears that can hear grass growing on the other side of the country.
I see. Well then, the job's yours. Do you think you can find the floodgates?
I just look for some openings with a lot of water pouring out, right? Yeah, I can handle that.
Talrega floodgates. The Crimean army is here. All troops, combat formations. Hit them fast and hard. We can't let this battle drag out. So those are the floodgates. If we can get them closed, the water will recede in about 12 hours or so. Alright, let's get going. Choose units. And some units are going to be taking a step back. Now that I have that settled, you can be chosen. Alright, I can only choose 2 more. I'm going to make that Leith and Morum. Mordecai does not have the capacity to... Well, Mordecai does have the Demi-Band on, so I guess I can equip that. Though I am also bringing Morum, so... It doesn't particularly matter who I decide to transform, honestly. I think it is better to... Yeah, I think it's actually just better to give this to Morum. And the only reason why is because right at this moment, Mordecai is still useful without a transformation, whereas Morum isn't that much so, due to the fact that he kind of needs to be transformed in order to do anything significant, whereas Mordecai has Smite, which, speaking of, I believe this house is what gives you the second Smite scroll. Definitely going to be getting that. So I'm going to be assuming a Strike Force, which will be Mist, Titania, and I'm supposing Stefan can be one. I halfway want to bring Shin on with this group as well. The rest of these folks are going to go to the wonderful right and immediately deal with these enemies here and whatever reinforcements I have. So I'm pretty sure that should be far and away well enough units. 7 movement. I think that's fine. I think you can go here so I can get some more hits in on with Shinon. Then I'm going to save. And then begin. All right. So plenty to do. Yeah, it's kind of very unfortunate, but Ike is not doing good enough damage, in my opinion, to... It has to do with the fact that his strength is just not up to par.
Only 18. That seems like it would be a lot, but it's actually kind of not. KO. Perfect. I halfway don't want to... I don't have a Legu Stone on him, though. I don't think it matters. I'm just going to chant. So it's a very hard decision, making that decision between whether or not you want ranged or not ranged, whether you, or not you want... Okay, I'm going to move you here. The Night Ring or the Full Guard on Rayson. Now, obviously, I've made my decision. I think a Silver Blade is the time. This guy just has too much HP. Granted, Stefan could have procced Astra or crit, but again, you kind of don't want to bet on those things. 16 times 2. Perfect. Missed. Yeah, this is one of those moments where she would have definitely benefited from having either a forged weapon or using the Sonic Sword, but using the Sonic Sword to defeat a enemy as weak and lowly as poor old pathetic soldier here is not exactly what I'm going to be doing. And then I have plenty of units over here that need to be taken care of. Thunder. Not a KO, so how about the said tome? Tormod can definitely take on this guy with the said tome, doing enough damage. Of course, there is also the fact that he has the wonderful adept skill, so either way, getting the job done. Xavier, Danvet. I halfway want to 18 times 2. That actually is a KO. Nice. I could potentially take out you guys. It depends on whether or not Morum doubles here, because if he doesn't... Okay, he does, but it's not a KO. What about leave? Yeah, I didn't think so. So what I'm going to do here then is take Morum and KO the Priest, which has just a men's staff. Granted, I wonder, does any of these guys have a physics staff? Yes, he does actually. What this means is that I need to do a little bit of rearranging and get this physics staff. I need to steal it. Unfortunately, I have not brought the unit to steal, so I'm going to have to go back and do just that. And I am back. My turn ended, and immediately I am greeted with the wonderful General and his soldier. General, how long are the floodgates to remain open? Until the Crimean army has been defeated. Sir, if we wait that long, all the neighboring farmland will be drowned. The locals are already quite upset. They may not abide this much further. General. Enough, soldier. If you've got the time to be bellyaching, take your butt out to the battlefield and kill some Crimean soldiers. Captain Har, do you support this action? This is inhumane. Lives will be ruined. Dayan citizens will die. Even if we claim that it's necessary in order to achieve victory, this is too much. This is Dayan's way. Are you ready to disobey the king and be put to the death for your troubles? I would rather die than kill innocent Dayan civilians. If you're executed as a traitor to the throne, your parents and siblings will also pay. Are you still prepared? Now, do you understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Go, fight bravely. Yes, sir. To gain the trust of the king, we've become cruel and heartless, first hunting and executing the Legus, and now flooding the lands these people call home. General Shihiram, if someone hears you use the word Legus in this country, you'll be branded a traitor. You're right as always. To live in this land where Legus prejudice is so virulent, we've had to seal away everything we know and teach our children to hate all subhumans. All that just to survive here. It's Ashnard's fault this country has become what it is today. What a terrible miscalculation we made. Even so, I hated the idea of furthering the corruption of the Imperial Senate. I will continue to support your reasons for leaving Begnion. I wonder if Jill has distanced herself from the Crimean forces. I did give her a warning. Above all else, I would like to avoid meeting my daughter in combat. I pray that she does not take to the field this day. Knowing her temperament, talking with you would only increase both of your sorrows. I have but one favor to ask of you. Say it, and it will be done. Do not fight today. What? Only one side can win a battle. If we are defeated in the end, I want you to care for the survivors and their families. Yes, sir. Commander Shihiram. Commander, it's been many a long year since you last called me that. May the fortunes of war be with you. Through all that's happened, it's been an honor to serve with you.
So Har does definitely leave. You do not want Jill facing Shihiram, because the moment she does, she gets recruited on the bad guy side, and there's no way to re-recruit her, I don't think. There's potentially a way to stop this, I believe, if she has a high enough support with Mist, if I'm not mistaken. I do recall something like that being the case. Do I know for a fact? No. And I'm not willing to bet on that fact. But it is something I have heard in time past. Ike just got crit. That's impressive. Very impressive. I would say my putting Ike this far up front was a bit of a miscalculation, though it's kind of crazy to find that somebody actually crit him. Yep, you are finito. Gone forever, gone for good. Just gone. And I'm glad for it. Goodbye, Draco Knight of Dayan. Mist racing. In this game, wyverns are treated as every other flying unit and are weak to wind magic and arrows. This was changed in Radiant Dawn, but it is definitely something to keep in mind in this game. What this means is that this wyvern here is a perfect and wonderful target for Shinon, because Shinon has quite a bit he can do in damage to him. Very nice, in fact. Though, with that being said, I think this is a wondrous and perfect time for me to call it quits in this episode, and to bid you all a farewell. I want to thank you for joining me. If you like my content, please upvote and follow, or like and subscribe. And while you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming.